don't. I
And
don't.
they,
I don't think they. I don't.
we're live. Are we live? Hello.
Yes, we're
Hello, world.
live. Yay! And we're having a fantastic time already.
Of course, we got a heated debate about insurance going on right now.
Yeah,
The
insurance.
romance writer's take on
Yes.
photo.
Yes.
Someone's going in a book.
There you go. There you go.
Oh, yeah.
That's right.
And Bella will be right back.
Yes, and Bella's coming back. Wait.
Yes, there she is. She is
That's
on
no
the
problems.
call.
Those are
The dog
fodder
wanted to go
for
in.
good
The
drama.
dog wants to come out. The dog wants to go in. It's just like having a toddler.
Yes.
True. Hey, Anita. All right. Well, I guess we should probably get started then, since we're already live. Hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Spilling Ink. We are the talk show that takes you behind the book to meet authors and professionals in the publishing industry. And as promised, two new to you authors to talk to this week. Again, we're talking about the Rituals and Runes book that is coming out, what day?
Tuesday.
The 4th.
Tuesday.
Wow.
3 days.
I know.
days.
I can't believe it's all here. I'm so
Super
excited.
soon.
You guys have got to be like just so excited to finally get this baby out there.
Yes,
Yes.
definitely. It's been a year in the making, and
Yep.
we are super excited to get this to you guys.
It looks like a great assortment of stories, and at 99 cents, I mean, how can you pass up that offer, right?
Right.
I mean,
There
It's
are
like 30 stories.
30
30
stories.
and they're brand new, and they're just full of magic and lusty vampires and sexy shifters. And if you follow me on TikTok, I am going to be putting up a very special video the day after release.
Ooh.
And it's a surprise, so it's CD Gorri. And I'll let you
Yes.
know, and I'm gonna send it to you, Katie, because Jane will already see it. But
Yes.
you're gonna love it.
I need to see this. Well, since you've already started to talk about it, CD, do you want to tell our audience about you and your books?
Sure. I'm CD Gorri. I'm a paranormal romance and urban fantasy writer. I'm from New Jersey, so New Jersey actually features a lot in my books. It's almost a character. It's either a setting or a backdrop for my characters. Write what you know. I have about 137 books out right now, I think. No, I'm wrong. It's 147. I don't do math. I do words. So I apologize. I can't count. And I'm co-writing with our fearless leader, Gina, for this set, Rituals and Runes. And the book we're putting out is book 2 in a series called The Witches of Westwood Academy. And the title of the book is Air Witch. And the series is about 5 elemental witches in their 20s. The academy is more like a university. And they're all there together, and they all have to come into their elemental power. And while they do so, they're going to have a little mystery, little adventure, and some serious romance. This particular witch is going to kind of butt heads with a assistant professor who doesn't like her work and has the audacity to fail her. So it's going to be fun. It's going to be interesting. And I hope you guys love it.
I love it already. Sounds wonderful.
That sounds super cool.
Looks like we got 2 pre-orders already. Margaret's pre-ordered. Anita's pre-order. All right.
Thank you.
Yes.
All right.
Well, that's, we need this. So thank you.
I can't wait to start reading. I've got my pre-order already done too. It's gonna be some fun times. Bella, do you want to tell us about your stuff?
Sure. I'm Bella Roccaforte. Often pronounced Roccaforte, but it is actually Roccaforte. And I live in Georgia. I've been publishing since 2012, and I never thought I'd ever say this before, but I'm humbled by CD. I only have 34 books published.
I'm crazy. Don't be humbled. I'm a lunatic.
No. Mother of 5. I was writing full time for a little while, but now I'm also, rocking the full-time job, single mom. Yeah. I'm gentle with myself, but I write horror, paranormal romance, dark paranormal, and my contribution to Rituals and Runes is actually an incredibly special story to me. It's called The Raven Sorceress, and I'm gonna get a little misty-eyed. Sorry. It is it's a story about self-sacrifice, and it's a story about finding out who you really are and standing up for those that can't stand up for themselves. And at the time when I had signed up to be a part of this set, a very, very dear friend of mine had just died by suicide. And I needed some sort of affirmation of life, and signing up for this and making a promise to myself that I was going to keep doing what I loved and continue to love writing. That inspired this entire story, and it's dedicated to his oldest son, who is a character in the book. And so this book is so meaningful to me in so many ways, aside from having the opportunity to meet so many amazing authors that I've never worked with before, or even interacted with before, has been amazing. And getting to have this story be a part of such an amazing set and all this talent, I'm so humbled by it because everybody is so amazing. So yeah, I'm super excited about, reader feedback, and, my betas were all like, we love that you're getting back to your roots of, you're scary and, action packed. And so in so many ways, this book is just a huge triumph for me. And so it's a little selfish, but yeah, along with everybody else, it really is just an incredible honor to be part of this. And the fact that it's 4 days away, I'm just like, I'm over here, I'm like hyperventilating, and it's like I've never released a book before, but this really feels like the first time for me, and I'm just like so excited,
I think we all are like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's definitely, we've been working really hard, on this. Our publisher is Naughty Nights Press, and I've been like helping Gina, who's the boss, like manage the set, so I can really vouch for the fact that these authors, these 30 women, have really come together, and we don't all know each other, but for the past year we've been working so closely together to make this happen, and not just to deliver you guys awesome, unique, individual stories that are going to keep you reading all through October, because this is like over 1,000 pages, guys, for 99 cents. Okay. Yeah. But, we're trying to be seen as indie authors, which is a struggle, as everybody knows. And we're trying to hit a list, and that's why we're bringing it for such a low price. And, with your help, hopefully, we can get there. And it's really a huge accomplishment, for everyone, because the more indies are taken seriously by this industry, the more we band together and lift each other up. It's just better for every single indie author out there. There's sometimes a lot of hate in this industry, and it's no good, it's no good. We need to, be seen and taken seriously. Yeah, exactly. So this has been a wonderful experience. Like Bella said, it's been humbling. It's been really uplifting, because it's so nice to see professionals come together and be able to work on something like this. It's special.
Hi, Rebecca. Sorry.
We talked last week about it's a learning experience too for authors who are coming in who maybe don't know how to market their books. I mean, you guys are doing marketing across all different social media platforms, different types of marketing, using videos, using graphics, using newsletter swaps. So for authors coming into it, they're really getting an education.
Oh, yes, like author boot camp.
Yeah.
It really is.
And I apologize for whip cracking,
No, no.
If I see that I've been tagged by a UCD, I'm like, oh crap, what did I
forget? That's what my kids say.
No, and my biggest problem is I'm very independent, and so I'm over here and I'm doing my thing, and then I'll get what have you done for us lately? And I'm like, I don't even remember, but I know I've been working like a lot, and then I got to try to write it down and remember what I've done. And I'm like, I swear, but I'm so bad about
I
sharing
know.
what I'm doing. I'm like,
It's
I just did a
terrible.
bunch of crap. I don't know what I did.
My day job is a business analyst, and I do some project management work, so I'm very, very regimented on when I do things and updating things.
You are
And
great. It's true.
frightening.
She's like got me on my toes, Miss Jane over here. And I'm like, what did I do? What did I say? No.
I need more of that in my life.
Well,
I think, yeah, it
it's
must
the
come
planner
off.
thing. I think that's my daughter got a little bit from me, but I'm a little bit more, flighty than she is. Put it that way.
See, that's why I need to work with you more often, Jane. I need the babysitter to tell me what to do.
Well, it's funny. We were talking before this about having to write in sequence. I used to be like that, and then I wrote with her. and then she taught me, and it's made me faster. And I've been writing since like 2010, or publishing since 2010, and I've got 69 books out. So 69, yay!
One book out is an incredible feat, guys. It's so difficult, and it's so brave. I'm always so impressed by anybody who does this, because writing is so personal, and writers are introverts, even though it doesn't seem like it. We are. Like we're shy, or we grew up shy or bashful. Not Bella, but we did.
Not me.
But we did. And then like you put personal aspects in a book, even a book as fantastical as one about a guy who turns into 1,000-pound dragon who's gonna fall in love with this woman who's like some badass who, I don't know, does anything, just can take over the world. And you write this crazy, wonderful fantasy, and you put it out there, and you're putting part of yourself in it. Yes. And then you're letting complete strangers read it and judge you. And it's terrifying. So even, whether you have one book or a book not finished, or, 3,000 books out, like you're still like a fantastic, brave, wonderful, courageous person. Like, good for you. It doesn't, and, sometimes, people write a book that's 200,000 words, and other stories are 20,000 words. And, it's not always the size, right, Bella?
Right.
Size doesn't matter.
It's how it makes you feel.
I don't know. I need a big book to satisfy me.
Oh, a size queen. We have a size queen.
We have a size queen. Yeah.
Rebecca will surely comment on that. Looks like we got a question though from the audience here. Margaret's asking, how do you decide what books to buy, which ones to read next, and do you cater to that in your own marketing efforts?
What
I can take this one. I can answer this one because for me it's a little different. I actually love reading the classics, and I also love reading indies. And when I first started, I don't know if any of y'all are familiar with Addison Moore. If you're not, you should be. She's fantastic and amazing. And I read her Celestra series and just absolutely fell in love with it. It was like a pinnacle of my career when I actually got to meet her in person. And, now we're like friends and stuff. And so that I literally picked it up because I saw it as a recommendation on Facebook and, started reading it. And so that's how I started choosing what books, is based on what other people were recommending. And then I think everybody here can commiserate with me when like I have a friend now, because now I think I have like 3 constant friends in my life that aren't writers. And so all of my friends are writers. And when they have something coming out, I want to buy it to support them. And then I want to read it because I live in terror of one of my author friends being like, "Oh, did you read my book?" And me being like, "No,
not yet."
So I read books based on my friends that are releasing books because I want to support my community, because that's what's important to me. And so that's how I decide what I'm reading next. And sometimes it gets a little overwhelming. Like I think CD, and I think you released like 5 books in the last 4 weeks, and I'm like, I can't keep up. Stop.
That wasn't my fault. That wasn't my fault.
Just saying.
Releases that I had to quickly put out. A small press they were in kind of went under, and I did a bunch of rewrites. I added like 20,000 words, redid the covers, and then had to get those out with some others. And like 2 were co-writes.
Yeah.
I only did half the work, but yeah.
Wait a minute. Okay, so some of these are re-releases. Sorry, y'all. We gotta have an aside. Some of these are re-releases.
The Maverick Pride Tales are re-releases, yes. But
okay, so I thought that like I was drunk or something because I'm reading this and I'm like, I swear I've read this before. But
no, I said, well, you're not subscribed to my newsletter then because it's explained.
I may be. But I know that there are 2 kinds of people in the world. People that have like no unread messages in their Gmail. I have 72,000.
Yeah, I never
unread.
I'll admit it. I'll admit that. But
I have to leave them unread because if I read them, then I'll forget them, right, Jane?
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
That's like, this is off the brain, right? Because when I was in college, my roommate used to open my mail and sort it for me and make sure I paid bills. And I just felt like some crazy person. And now my husband does it. So if I could get him to open my email,
it would be one of those.
Yeah.
Where do I find one of those?
Yeah, it was great. I'm like, I don't ever look at mail. I'm sorry.
I mean, even at work, even at my day job, all my emails are read. And I read very fast. I read The Stand in one day.
Yeah, no, I don't know.
Well, I can read very fast, but I only want to read something that I want to read.
Yes.
See,
true.
that's the kicker.
True. Yeah. Well, I mean, I scan it. I'm like, okay, not important. Okay, I have to answer that. Okay.
That's something I love about this indie author journey. Like I'm on because this is my job. So I pick what I want to do. And I'm my boss, and I don't. If I don't want to subscribe, I don't. And I don't open.
Freedom is good. The responsibility, of course, comes with it, but you've got the freedom.
Yeah.
We've got Patricia's asking for another book count from everybody.
Oh, geez.
69.
147. But some of them are short, but it's 147. Thank you.
I think I'm at 36 of my own, but I also have I stopped counting on the ghostwritten ones, but 36 of my own total.
But you guys have like millions of words too. So they are bigger. Some are bigger.
I'm bringing up the rear at only 34.
The only. That is a respectable number.
Fantastic accomplishment.
You know what? I'm 100% comfortable with it because I only write what I'm loving writing now. And I only write when I want to. And that bringing that love back to writing, I jokingly say only, but I'm still incredibly proud of every word that I've ever written. And yeah, but yeah, I'm only 34.
No, it's wonderful.
Really. Well, I mean, and I'm only talking about published because I have like a million that are like half written.
Don't we all?
I don't have half-written books.
What? You don't have
a
pile full of like half-written stories?
Books. No, when I start something, I finish it.
Wow.
I don't know if I have. I don't think I have any unpublished because I've either. So when I finish it, I publish it, and then I move on.
See, I'm that way with painting.
Like, boom, 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 boom.
That's true. That's definitely something. I mean, I think I can relate to that because I need to do this in order and I need to get it out. And part of those re-releases, fellas, because they came down so quickly and I wasn't made aware and I got freaked out and I was like, oh my God, I better reread these. And then I started adding and like doubling the words and I had to introduce new characters and recover them. And it became this whole labor of love, and I'm going through it as quickly as I can because like I need them to be done and out there because they were already on my finish list, and I'm not.
Well, I think we might both be caught up in that, and here's what I did with that. I'm just like, Well, maybe someday. Maybe someday I'll get them back out.
This is a hugely you're talking about popular series like this one. For some reason, I get a lot of feedback from readers who really enjoy the series. So I really wanted to get it back to them as quickly as possible.
Yeah.
And the thing that really did it for me, we were talking about covers. So part of my writing process is I need to have my cover first, but because I write curvy heroines, with big, sexy, muscular shifters, it was really difficult to find cover models. So I came across an artist who was doing renders, and she made me beautiful renders of curvier women with like big hunky men. Nice. And I was totally blessed finding her, and it's just been wonderful. So now I've employed her to do like 50,000 of these for me. Stop asking me for things, and I'm like, never. I will never stop.
Y'all, I'm just saying, if the cover trend ever moves away from the rendered characters, we are so screwed.
Yeah.
That's gonna suck.
Yeah.
We've got a lot of questions popping up here in the chat. We should probably get to some of those. Hold on.
Yeah.
Back here. Let's see. Inspiration.
Well, yeah. What inspires us? What inspires you guys? You too.
You can go. I've been talking a lot. I'm a big mouth.
We're all just chatterboxes, and then we're like, no, you can go.
Oh, everything
with trade secrets.
Just everything.
Dreams, nightmares. Yep.
Depends on the book.
It's true though, because like
daily stupidity.
Chronic people watching.
Yeah.
People watching. Yep.
No, grocery store shopping. You ever listen to people in the grocery store? Crazy. And that dialogue is too good to pass up.
Oh yeah.
And there I am with my little iPhone, like re-speaking. I'm like, this has to go in a book. I can't believe I just said this. But,
do you kill any of your do any of your family members appear in your books?
Like what? Those are two different questions.
I can speak to this one because I'm a very dark writer. And like after the final episode of Mooncrossed came out, in the end of season 1, I got over 12,000 emails. Oh. And they were, what is wrong with you? What happened to you as a child? Have you sought therapy for your trauma? All of this other stuff in these emails. But the thing that I loved about all of those emails is after they were done going, what the fuck is wrong with you? They were like, when's the next book coming out?
Yep.
And at the end of that book, there's some deaths of some people that are, because Mooncrossed is, I've got a cadre of boys and all older and, nothing weird. But they were all the werewolves that were featured in Mooncrossed. And so this is my heart family. And, it was funny because one of them came to me and was like, you totally killed me. You killed me. And I'm like, I did. And I'd do it again. Now, it's so cool. And I'm like, yes, I am.
These are my people.
Yep. I love you. I had to kill you in this book, okay? So yeah, no, I absolutely will. My Deadly Dream series has a body count of over 400, but it's a horror. Oh. It's an urban fantasy horror series. It's 6 books. Okay. They don't all die at once.
That's like 200. That's it's like what 150
over here.
a book.
Like, that's fine.
Yeah. Some of you may die. I'm willing to make.
All right, Farquad.
Exactly. I'm okay with this. I'm very comfortable with myself.
What is the condition of your keyboards at this point?
I just got a new one.
I just had to get a new one too.
Yeah, I wore one out. It was sad. I was like, I'm sorry.
It's on my PC, and my S, my D, my C, my N, and my M are like smudged.
I got a red dragon. Yeah.
Oh, Red Dragon. I love that brand.
Yeah, you know what? I like that they glow, and I like that the colors change.
Yeah, mine does the little
I'm a
rainbow
visual,
thing
yeah,
when I'm
Ooh,
typing.
nice.
Yeah, you know, and I got.
I have to have the click. I have to have
Yes,
the click.
Yeah, I love those mechanical keyboards
like-
and the clickies and it
Yeah.
rainbow moves
Very
everywhere.
satisfying hearing the click, click, click.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it has to be the right click too, because there are different kinds of the.
I don't like that soft, weird click where it
Nope.
like
I
slowly
need that
comes back
springy,
up. I'm like,
hard
what is
click.
with that?
I need to know it happened.
Yeah, I need.
Exactly.
I want some proof that was.
Yes. I need affirmation.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Oh, we've got lots of questions today. Oh my goodness. All right. Anybody write in a different genre than normal? I will sit out because obviously I say yes on that one.
Yes.
I'm going to be writing a World War II romance at some point.
Oh,
That
wow.
is different for you.
Yes,
Very
it's
cool.
it's my grandparents' story.
Okay.
So I'm writing that, and I've got diaries that have things. I've got pictures from the boat when they picked up the POWs. I've got the letter that my grandfather wrote my father. So I just have to put it all together, and of course I have a cover for it.
We know.
But
I've
that's
seen this, ladies and gentlemen.
yes.
There are
Yeah.
quite a few covers that are waiting for manuscripts from.
Yes. For Miss Jane, yes. But yeah, so that's out of my wheelhouse, very much so. But you know, it's World War II, so there has to be death.
Not too far out of your
No,
wheelhouse.
no. But yeah, that's going to take me out of my comfort zone.
Okay.
Yeah, I actually wrote a
exercise,
contemporary romance.
Okay.
I have a contemporary romance series, and everybody was like, "You are not capable of writing a happy ending," and I'm like, "Yes, I am."
Challenge accepted.
Yes.
I think I surprised myself because I've been leaning now. You know, I started with urban fantasy and got into paranormal romance, and now I'm doing a lot of paranormal romantic comedy. And I love the humor. Like, I love humor. I want to have a good time. I want to have a good time, like, all the time. I don't want to be sad. I don't want to be angry. I want to be happy, and I want to laugh, and I want to make people happy, and I want to make them laugh.
If
So
you're enjoying the
absolutely.
story when you write it, your readers will enjoy the story when they read it.
Exactly. So that's, you know, always what I'm hopeful for. That's like my whole goal in life is to party and have fun. Basically, I'm a frat boy, and that's what I
love
want to do.
I love it.
So,
You
but I
totally
didn't
need to
set
come and hang out on my porch. I'm just saying.
out- It's true. It's true. This is, well, you know, I'm going to be in Georgia. When am I going to be in Georgia? In July 2023, Literary Love Savannah.
Oh wow.
Reader Author Convention.
I'm like 5 hours from there, though.
Mm.
Well, I will tell you, I don't know if any of y'all know Shane McClendon. She's actually doing a North American writing tour where she's driving around and staying with readers and just meeting up with readers all over the country, here in Canada and the US. And she stopped here, and she was supposed to be here, you know, for a day and then overnight and then leave the next night. And she got here and she's like, I don't want to leave. And I'm like, don't, you know, and she's like, I've never written so many words in my life in a day. And I'm like, just stay. And so, yeah, we got the guest room. We got the whole setup. So I'm just saying.
Interesting.
And the cowboy cooks very well. No cowboy.
Kate's on her way because she's missing her chef.
Mhm.
I am very food motivated, okay?
Yeah.
Aren't we all?
No, when she was coming, he's like, what would you like me to make? And I'm like, wing it. And he goes, I will make steak à poivre and carbonara. And I'm like, all right. You know,
We will make food.
I'm like, cool. You know, I will pretty much eat anything.
All right. Has anybody ever fallen in love with your character?
Oh gosh, every book.
Yep.
Every single book.
Every single book.
Every single
All the
character.
characters. Not just the hero, not just the hero. Like I love them all, and they're all my favorite. Like especially the one I'm writing. Like, so
yeah, the current books that you're writing, you end up falling in love with, the people you're creating. Yes. Yeah.
I had one that was a surprise. In the Deadly Dreams series, I have a character named McNabb who is very quirky, and as I profiled his character, I'm like, oh my god, this dude would irritate out of me in real life. And by the end of writing the series, I just absolutely adored him. So that happened.
Mm-hmm. So to Rebecca's question, 135 covers waiting for books. And mind you, I've written 69 since 2010. but I work full time, so
I have one cover for a book right now, but I usually don't buy the cover for a book until I'm 3/4 of the way done with it. So, but I also have to stay out of those pre-made cover book groups, because otherwise I'm like, oh my god, I could write a book for that cover.
Like, what pretty, yes.
It's so pretty. I need that. And I'm like, no, I could use that money to pay my editor. I'm gonna hold on.
I have stopped the automatic notifications.
Yes.
If I go to the groups, it's my own thing, but I have stopped all notifications.
Let me preface this. She sends me emails that start off, Katie, tell me no. And then she shows me a cover that I can't say no to anyways. I'm like, why would you send me this? I'm not your strong person. I'm weak too.
This is why I make time.
Enabler.
You're a cover enabler. I won't ask you.
All right.
Silly characters.
I want to go to Janet's question. Oh, silliest characters. Yes.
Silliest character. I've got one that uses comedy, Princess Bride quotes to disarm people.
Oh, I love that. I love the Princess Bride. That's definitely like a goal, right? To like get to that kind of,
cult classic.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Well, just the way the characters interact with each other, and to be able to create secondary characters that become legend and are almost bigger than,
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, like Inigo is my favorite. I mean, who doesn't love him? But I do. I love them. My silliest character that I have, because I write a lot of, PNR comedy, is from a shared world. It's the fucking A books, Furry United Coalition Newbie Academy. That's created by the wonderful Eve Langlais, who is just a comedic genius. And I completely worship this lady. Her books are amazing. And once she opened her world and invited us in, I was like, oh my God, I need to do this. But my first book with her is called Chinchilla and the Devil. And the devil is a Jersey devil, because, Jersey girl. I write Jersey Devils. And his name is Tony Leeds. And Tony's a Guido. And he's like 6.5 foot tall, ponytail wearing, silly Italian slang talking Guido, who turns into a giant red half furry, Jersey devil. And he's also a prick. He's a private, resourceful, investigative consultant.
Okay.
Yeah,
very nice.
He owns that, and he's just real silly and funny, and calls his love interest, like things like doll face and pasticino, and just all silly little, you just like you want to slap him and you want to kiss him halfway through, like you don't know which one, or probably both. But I love Tony. And I did a lot of research on the Jersey Devil for that book. So everything else about the devil is actual like folklore in New Jersey, which is pretty cool. But yeah, he's funny. He's a character. He's a character, and he's going on sale next month. So
that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have
getting longer and longer.
My contribution to Rituals and Runes in Raven Sorceress, my beta sent back to me that one of their favorite characters is actually the silliest character. He is a gargoyle named Pickle. And they were like, oh my God, I love Pickle. Pickle needs his own book. And I'm like, are you serious? So everybody loves Pickle. And I just really thought that was really interesting because he's just a very silly little character. Doesn't actually have any dialogue. It's all in his actions. And so yeah, that was a bit surprising for me because I didn't realize how silly and absurd he was, but he's pretty silly.
Those become precious though, they're like to the readers and just important to this, if it becomes a series, like he could keep that going.
Yeah, no, I had someone actually say, hey, have you thought about 3D printing, Pickle figurines? And I'm like, well, I hadn't before,
but now I do.
But now I am.
Now I want to do that.
Yeah.
Smoke.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I'm like the silliest character that I wrote with Katie, and he was a snarky cat that needed to help a demon fight the 7 deadly sins. So
and very unwilling as cats go.
Yes, very unwilling. Yes,
I just got 2 cats, so I'm like in love with my cats, and I'm very into this whole like cat worshiping culture. We should worship them. They're awesome.
That's what they think, at least.
You know what? And like, who are we to say no? I mean,
right.
I think that they're on the right track. I'm like, okay, whatever you want. Sure.
All right, so we went funny. Now let's go sad. Who's cried while writing a scene?
I don't cry.
I sat in an Atlanta bread company, and I was just there for an afternoon with a writer friend, and I was sobbing. And I had other patrons coming up to me going, are you okay? And I'm like, I'm a writer.
Have you guys ever written anything that surprised you?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I'll be writing, I'll be like, how the hell did this happen? This was not in the plan. Stop.
I intended to kill a character all the way up till the last 2 chapters of the book, and then realized I couldn't kill him. Had to rewrite parts of the book to make it feel I didn't kill that character.
Yes.
Couldn't do it. Couldn't pull the trigger.
Yeah, she's not like me. She's not like me.
I've definitely come out of my office and been like, you are not going to believe what just happened. Yeah.
I think characters sometimes have, their own ideas of what's supposed to happen. So I find that surprising just with every book.
Yeah, they have their own agenda.
You give them a personality. You got to expect them to use it.
Yeah.
And you're like, do you really want to do this? Like, this is not realistic. And they're like, well, you're writing about a werewolf. And I'm like, yeah, okay.
Still has to make sense.
This doesn't make any sense. Well, it's funny though, because like you ever get like reviews like that too, where somebody's like, well, this wasn't believable. I'm like, oh, but the dragon was.
The dragon was?
Yeah.
Like, where do you live? That was okay with you? All right. You're right. Sorry about that.
Yeah, that's what happened with Season of the Dragon. One of my reviews was like, well, the fact that they had food was unbelievable. I'm like, well, you didn't read to book 3 because book 3 has it all explained anyway before that.
That's the hill you want to die on.
But the demon talking to me with the pickle sidekick is fine.
Yes, exactly.
That's okay. Like, okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. I try to be nice. I try not to read reviews, but they're important. You need them. Thank you. Anybody who writes them.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
me
you.
1 star. I'm okay with that. Although I have one series that is very, very borderline autobiographical. And I had one reviewer say, that's so unrealistic. Nobody would ever do that. And I'm like, I actually did that, I don't know whether I need to reevaluate my life or, yeah, I was like, that one stuck with me for a little while But I actually love my 1-star reviews more than I love my 5 stars. And that's not, please don't purposefully write me one to make me happy. But I learn a lot from them. And sometimes, like my earlier books, there's a lot of potty mouth in those books. And I've had reviews that say the swearing was unnecessary. And I'm like, yes, it fucking was.
Yes.
You know? And,
Yeah, I've been told that about swearing.
What people stick on. It really is.
yeah.
Well, I never understand that because I'm like, I'm from Jersey. Like, maybe you don't talk like that, but that's how I talk.
Yeah.
It's like, I grew up
I don't know what you mean. Why would
she
you have to say that? I'm
weaves a
like,
beautiful
because like,
web of
I say this
curse
word every
words.
3 words. This is what I say.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
And it's not like unnecessary. I'm like, this is dialogue. People speak like this where I'm from. I'm sorry.
Exactly.
Yes.
That's how we talk in my house.
There's
I don't know what
sentence
y'all are doing
modifiers.
wrong.
It's like sprinkles on a cake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, you know.
No,
like,
if I'm not
where did I
swearing,
come from Paris? Like, where? You know, and they're like, what? I can't help it. I'm just like, okay.
And
And I was
dialogue's gotta
actually,
sound real. And if people are, if that's what they say, that's what they say. So I don't get that.
well, I'm like, it sounds like if you have a lot of advice about how books should be written, you should try it.
Right.
no, they shouldn't.
No, they should, and then they should, then they say, I'm sorry.
No, they shouldn't. No,
See,
because they go on to publish those books, which actually hurts us indie authors because people that aren't going to put the editing into it and the research into it and
no.
the
You
heart
should
into
definitely
it.
try all of it, not just, I'm saying try the whole writing.
Yeah, you
game.
got to do it all right.
Yeah.
You got to do it all right.
Yeah,
Well,
it's like that
that's
huge
thing.
shock after when you really, you write your first book and, you're on fire, you write the thing, you get it edited, and then you release it and you're thinking to yourself,
I
man,
love that.
I can get this
Yes.
next one out in the same amount of time as I did the first one. But what people don't realize is you're spending so much time marketing and building your brand and building, your audience, that now your writing time has literally been cut in half. I'm like, come at me for that.
Right.
That's part of like this set, which I think is also why indie authors join anthologies, and especially a list aiming anthology, because we're actually given, a lot of tools that will help us with our careers when we do this, when we come together and we're given, when you have a set manager like Gina, like Naughty Nights Press, who gives you like a set of tasks and says, this is what you need to do. And I mean, believe me, it's not all like sunshine and roses.
No.
A lot of people resist this because, let's face it, we're adults. We don't like to be told what to do. But, but
I do.
In order to learn,
I need help.
Sometimes you need to listen, and sometimes I find following directions really difficult for me. Like I first of all, I'm done paying attention to you after like 30 seconds. I'm like looking at something else. I'm thinking about something like, what did I have to do? So it is a little hard, but in these anthologies, like we're given tasks and we're broken up into groups, and you're taught tools that you really need, because when you're an indie author, you're not just a writer. You're a writer, you're an editor, you're someone who now needs to be able to interview people who are going to do this for you, who are going to edit for you, because you can't just blindly trust, that it's going to. You have to take an active role. And like for me, this is my job, this is my profession, this is my career. So like I'm doing this all day. I'm writing every day. People ask me, well, how often do you write? I'm like, every single day I write. Every single
Stephen King said,
I mean,
writing is like math, and God gets upset with you if you don't show up for mass. So even if it's 500 words, I'm a recovering Catholic, so I got that resonated. But even if it's 500 words, I get up early and I hammer out that 500 every single day. It doesn't mean they're good words. It doesn't mean I'm going to use them.
So we get better the more we do it.
Yeah.
But writing's not enough. You have to market, you have to edit, you have to format, you have to do a million things. And
you can't just stand up on the mountain and go buy my book.
No. And,
well, the other thing is,
unfortunately, you can't. Which
I mean, you
I
can
would like
do
to
that.
do that.
I don't know who's listening,
but you're not going to be successful. No, and the thing is what worked last year. Okay, do y'all remember when First in Series Free was like a magic bullet?
Yeah.
Now it
yes.
doesn't mean anything, hardly. And it's changing. And, a funny thing about the task that I signed up for, I signed up for video stuff. And I was thinking that, I'll just be making trailers because I know how to do that. I'm fair to middling at it. And I'm like, I can totally do that. What I didn't realize is I was actually committing to TikTok stuff. And I'm like,
No, because that's where it's at now.
no.
You need reels, you need TikToks, and it's constantly changing. Like with any, entrepreneurial career, like you need to know what is current. You need to know what. I'm not even talking about like the writing. I'm not suggesting you not be true to yourself and write to, whatever's popular at the time. Like, no, write whatever it is that you write, but you still have to know how to market it and how to speak about it and how to reach your audience, because that's what's important, reaching your target audience.
Finding new readers, yeah.
And that's what these sets do, like, right? We're all these authors, we come together, we share our audience, which is what, I always say to people, readers read. Like, so however fast you're producing or not producing, like readers aren't just waiting because, look, you said you read fast. Like I read fast. I can read a book in a day. If I like it, I can read it. So if it takes you 8 months to put out your next book, well, what the hell am I doing? If I'm waiting for you, I'm going to read somebody else in the meantime. But if you use your newsletter to show me other authors who I might be interested in, then hey, I'm going to stay in touch with you.
Right.
I'm going to keep coming back because you know what? You introduced me to this author who I really like, and then she introduced me to him. And then so it's this wonderful, beautiful sharing of audiences and growing your own readership, which is how you become successful, Right. I think that it's really the only way we can become successful because let's face it, people, big business, top 5, like they're not looking to make you famous, They want their guys to be famous, Right. Like big ebook platforms, they have their own imprints and they want to, support their authors. So this is important that we come together like this, and that we raise each other and that we get each other known.
Yeah, exactly.
Readers reading. Keep the readers reading. Like that needs to be a slogan.
Yeah,
I mean, like that.
Yes. Keep them engaged. That's the whole. Whether it's my stuff, your stuff, Bella's stuff, or Katie's stuff. And I don't care.
It's all like paranormal romance we're talking about. Like everyone's like subgenre is so different. And I find that, fascinating because sometimes I'm in a dark mood and I want to read something where like 400 people are going to die.
I got you. I got you.
You got you. Yes.
Like for me, like I scroll up and you mentioned like classics. Like I read all the classics. Like I love Austen. I love the Brontes. I love Shakespeare. I'll go back and, like I'm reading different stuff all the time. And I really think that readers do also. So I think that we're never hurting each other when we do this. I think we're only helping.
It's not a competition. It's a community.
Exactly. Because that, that's a thing.
Damn it.
Yeah. So all the negativity's gotta, just kind of brush that away.
Stop.
Yeah, I kind of go like that with it.
I don't even
get out of your way.
I don't even see it half the time, and I'll be like, hey, what? No, never mind.
No, I don't even care. I don't even care.
Like, what?
Do not engage.
They're like, they're just, so-and-so said this about. I'm like, who said
cares?
Who are you?
Who is that? Why do I care?
Hey, if you've got time to get involved in the drama, you're not writing fast enough.
Yeah, no. I'm like, all right, I have like something else to do.
Most of the time I look up and I'm like, Bella, and I'm like, what happened? Who said what? Where? Oh, never mind. I'm going to go back.
Like, I have no idea.
The world I live
just
in.
Just a distraction.
There you go.
It's silly. It's silly.
Back to the writing cave.
Yep.
Yes.
This is
pretty much.
It's all messy and terrifying.
After next week, I'll sit down and really seriously get back into writing. But I haven't written since
Well, you're getting ready to do the big move and everything too, so I'm sure that throws a wrench in your schedule.
What move?
I don't ever want to move. When I move out of this house.
Closing the. It's the seasonal close. I'm like, what move? Where am I moving?
It's still moving. You're closing the trailer for the
closing the
season.
trailer and going back to New Hampshire for the winter.
Yeah.
Like, where am I moving? Sorry, Katie.
Apparently that doesn't qualify.
No, it's just packing up and winterizing and stuff. And saying goodbye to the ocean. The pretty ocean.
Yeah, you trade one good view for another.
Yeah.
So
mountains,
jealous.
mountains,
Mountains and snow, and then the beach with the.
I told you you could come visit. You can all come visit.
Don't
on
tempt
a writing
me.
weekend. And my husband will cater to us.
Like I said, don't tempt me. I'll show up on your doorstep one day.
and we'll welcome you.
Careful what you wish for. Because
Yeah.
I'm crazy.
Oh, we do
That's
still have a
okay.
couple more questions.
No.
I wouldn't say writing them. It's when you find out your father's read them that you kind of go, oh.
No.
I'm sorry, what was the question? It's really teeny tiny and I can't read it.
Do writing sexy scenes embarrass you?
While
All
you're
right.
writing them.
While
We
you're
actually
writing them.
talked about this pregame. I'm a dirty whore in real life. I love sex. I have sex multiple times a day. Okay. But I cannot write sex scenes because when I'm writing them, I feel so embarrassed and I'll be sitting there going, cock. And my adult son walked into my office one day while I was writing a sex scene and I just looked up at him.
He knows.
And he goes, oh my God, mom, you're writing a sex scene, aren't you? And I'm like, I am, I'm sorry. And he just like backed out of the room slowly. And I'm like, I'm such a terrible person. So yeah, I am embarrassed while I'm writing the scene. And it, you know, when I go back and I read it and I cringe and I'm like, oh my God, I said the word nipple. And yeah. So that's a thing for me.
I am not embarrassed at all.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm just like, is it hot enough?
What's another word for cock? How many times can I use it on this page?
And yeah, is that an echo word?
Well, it's funny because like I think sex scenes have like for me they've like evolved into almost just instead of just like mechanical, like he stuck A into B, you know, it's just become more about like the character's thoughts and feelings and while they're doing this. And you know, sometimes it's funny as it should be funny. Sometimes there's dialogue while sex is happening because dialogue happens during sex, you know, silly shit happens. And you know, it's supposed to be an expression of love, not, you know, like I'm not writing porn, I'm writing romance. So it's different. And like, yes, I use dirty words and I use, you know, you can only use cock on a page once. Well,
just checking if you're still listening, Rebecca.
And then that shouldn't happen. But you know, I don't it doesn't embarrass me. I just think that it does change and it has to change, just like in real life it has to change because who wants it to be stale and you know the same. So I guess it just depends. You know, I
need the sexual thesaurus. That's what I need.
You know what?
Oh my God, there's the dirty words for the naughty words for nice authors.
Oh, yes.
You've got to pick that up. The naughty words for nice authors.
There's there's a funny one. I post these silly things sometimes, and it's like romance writer lingo for penis, and so they're so hilarious. Like, yeah, I have to write these because they're just so damn funny. I'm like, what? Like, who says these things?
Who wrote that?
You know, like your love bud.
Your cluster of nerves. I'm like, that sounds gross.
Okay, and let's talk about the dirtiest word of all, how none of us are ever allowed to say. What are we not allowed to say?
The C word.
You know what? I've actually read this. People aren't as bad, about that word as they are about the word moist. No
Yes.
one wants to hear moist.
No way. Unless it has to do with cake.
Yeah, cake is moist.
Yes.
So, Jade, I don't know if you can see these, but I am sending you my romance lingo funny post because I died when I read these. I'm like, what the hell is that?
Oh my
So,
God. Oh yes.
Oh no, when I see other authors post those, so what are words that you don't like to see in a book? I'm like reading that thing, I'm looking at all the comments, and I'm like, oh good, I don't use any of those.
So
Those
yeah.
are funny.
Do you see the rigid sword of? I'm like, what?
Yes.
Like who does that?
Yes.
I don't know, and I've never talked about anyone's penis like that.
Yeah, no.
Okay, look, can we all just agree? Dicks are ugly. That's why there's a phrase. Ugly is a
anyone
fucking
write
dick.
like that
They're not
Omegaverse?
pretty.
There's like a whole Omegaverse thing, or like this nodding thing, and then there's all these pictures in these groups of like alien cock. And I'm like, what the fuck is that? And why are we looking at this? And it looks
You just
painful.
hurt my head.
Yeah,
You just hurt
like,
my brain.
it freaking made my brain explode. And there's a huge like subculture for this. And someone was like, "Oh, you should write this." I'm like,
There's
No.
a fetish for everything.
Yeah.
how is this even? Who is describing this so detailed with like the 4 veins and like the 2 bulbous things and then these like barbs? And I'm like, ow!
Barbs.
Like I gave birth, okay, and that freaks me out. Like, no
I mean,
way.
I'm into some weird shit, but barbs?
Yeah, I'm not kidding. You have to look at this girl. I mean, more power to you if you write it, if you read it, if you like this, and any good for you.
There's
I don't
literally
know.
a fetish for everything.
I have not evolved there yet. I cannot do this yet.
You have to show Rebecca's last comment.
Wait, what'd she say? The moist one?
No.
Oh, the purple
Oh,
head
okay,
yogurt
yeah.
girl. Oh, thanks. That's great.
When I first heard about dinosaur porn,
Oh yeah.
I was
Yeah, I
in
don't
a
understand
Panera
that one.
Bread, and I was writing with a writer friend, and she said something about dinosaur porn, and I said that's bullshit, and she goes, it's not. So I pick up my Kindle and I'm like, and I
Whole
had to buy
barbarian
it,
dinosaur thing.
and so I
There's
opened
like a
it.
guy who writes this stuff, and he's always like in
Oh,
the
you're
top.
talking about Chuck Tingle.
Is that I don't even know who it is. All I know is I see his covers, and I'm
Yeah.
like, what the fuck am I looking at?
He has
Good for
produce
him. That's
porn.
wonderful.
He does parodies of
Produce
everything.
porn.
That's so funny.
I'm like, I can't with you people. Y'all need Jesus. I mean, I'm kind of deviant, but y'all need Jesus. I mean, I'm not judging, but
Oh my god.
Hallelujah.
man.
Amen.
yeah. So I'm
I
reading
just
out
watched
loud.
Vikings. I think I need Odin. I think or Thor. Like, I'm
Yeah,
Thor.
somebody need something.
I
Yeah.
I'll,
Yeah, so
you know.
I'm reading this dinosaur porn out loud in the Panera, and so to my friend, and she's like, Bella, and I'm like, no, I gotta go on. She's like, Bella, no. And I'm like, no.
Behind
And
you.
I'm going on. So it was like 9:00 at night, and she goes, Bella, and I look, and I'm like, oh.
Oh,
Because there was a church lady group from like the Methodist church that was meeting there, and they're all looking at me horrified, and I'm like, I'm kind of used to getting that look a lot anyway. And I'm just like, y'all need to loosen up. You know?
And you should have said, and I know you want the name of that book. Here's the cover. So you can write it down.
Yeah.
Well, I get told, like my son, who is in 8th grade, and that's a wonderful age for boys. And his friends all tell him.
He's lying. It's not.
Oh, no. Well, you know what? He's my baby, so he is wonderful.
My baby's in 8th grade too.
Well, they'd say, your mom writes werewolf porn. I'm like, what? No, I don't. I write dragon porn, God damn it.
Get it right.
The werewolf stuff is romantic now. Anyway, they said, just tell them to shut up. They can't read anyway. It's fine. But he doesn't mind. He thinks it's funny, which I'm glad, because I hear sometimes people, like, their kids get a little embarrassed. Does that happen to any of you? Are your children embarrassed by your romance writing?
No, my kids, they don't care, but they will tell people, oh yeah, my mom's a writer, and like when they're like, well, what does she write? And they're like, well, the thing is, I don't write a lot of steamy. Like my Vampire Thirst books are kind of steamy, but not over the top. They get weirded out when people are like, oh, your mom wrote this book called Mooncross. Is that any good? Because so many people that they know are characters in that book that they're like, nobody that we know should ever read that book. That's the only time that it's the only time that there's any kind of reticence from my kids. But otherwise they're like, you go, Mom. I used to speak at a lot of conferences and do a lot of Comic-Cons, and they would all be like, yeah, my mom's at Comic-Con, and she's got all these like people buying like this opportunity photo ops and signed books and stuff from her, and they thought that was the coolest thing in the world. So I'm really lucky that my kids are so supportive.
I scarred my daughter. not with sex scenes, but with a scary scene. She wouldn't read any of my books, none of them. She only read one that she begged me to write. It was about my high school years. And then last year, when I saw the cover to Silent Night, I said, because she's a Christmas freak, I said, you have to read this if I write it. And she goes, only if I could write it with you. And I said, okay. And so she read that one. But the scene that she picked up, I think it was, it had to have been in Georgia Rain, where my bad guy did surgery on kids. He kidnapped. That was one of my FBI series, and she I think she picked it up. She read it, and she got so freaked out that her mother wrote that.
I'm probably thinking about, where's all that rage, Ma? And
I've scared Rebecca.
I started publishing. Well, I started writing in 2014, and my first series is urban fantasy, but it's almost young adult, so it's very clean. So my middle daughter actually read those books, which I was grateful for, because she was a little younger, and like those are probably appropriate for like ages 12 and up. But back to Rituals and Runes, that one, which does read urban fantasy, there are actually sex scenes in that, which is a little different. So I wouldn't, recommend that for like ages 12, more like a little older. But I did start off with, it was more like coming of age, like werewolf story. It's but she's the basis for like my entire world that I write in. So like all these books I write, they're all in one universe, so they're kind of all following the same paranormal rules, which I think is probably why like I can come out with these series quickly, because the world's established, and it's just like different groups of supernaturals, mostly shifters, a couple of vampires, a lot of witches lately. But they're all in there, and it's kind of fun. So I have had one of my kids read stuff that I wrote, but nothing dirty. I told them they're not allowed. But now my kid goes to private school. She goes to Catholic school, and one of her teachers actually stopped me recently to tell me how she really enjoyed this kind of dirty dragon series that I had. And I was just like, oh. And I didn't know how to react. And she was like, well, when is the next one? And I was like, oh shit, like I can never look at you again. And I'm never going to back to school night. Thank God for this either. And my daughter said, oh, Miss So-and-so said she liked this. And I was like, oh my God. And I'm like, okay, thank you.
Mhm.
But it was just, so that was a little embarrassing. I think I felt like I got caught, like I got caught doing something bad.
Right?
Yeah, I think my son's read some of my stuff. We wrote together when he was younger, so but outside of
Ooh.
and when he turned 18, I said, "Okay, you can read whatever I have if you want." You know, my dad has read everything. My mother has read everything but the first book because both my dad and I said no. My husband's read most of my stuff except for that first book. Yeah, survival games is brutal. So
That's the one I didn't read.
no, that one is really brutal. Um,
All
so
right, guys. Well,
No, I
we
don't
are
do brutal.
over time.
oh,
One more time before we go, though. Tell us which books you are contributing to Rituals and Runes, which is out on Tuesday.
Go ahead, CD.
Oh, okay. So I'm writing Air Witch. Well, I wrote Air Witch along with Gina Kincaid. We collaborated on this. It's a Witches of Westwood Academy book. It's book 2, and it's just a whole lot of fun. There's secrets in here. There are mysteries. There's romance. I hope you love it. I hope you love it because I really loved writing it. It was definitely an adventure for me, and just the book in general. Rituals and Runes. You're going to get 30 brand new paranormal romance and urban fantasy stories for just 99 cents, but only through Saturday.
yes.
Once Saturday comes, the price goes way up, and you really don't want to miss out. It's really going to be something, and you would be helping support us indie authors trying to hit a list with this set, and we appreciate you. And we really do this for our readers, and we're just kind of thrilled to get this out. It's been a year in the making, and it was just wonderful working with all these wonderfully talented women, and I'm just so excited. And thank you so much for having us tonight. This was a lot of fun.
Absolutely.
You're
You guys
welcome.
welcome back anytime. Bella, you want to tell us one more time about yours?
Sure. I wrote The Raven Sorceress, and it is a story of exploration, self discovery, self sacrifice, and just really identifying yourself and who you love and loving yourself. And very much a coming of age story. So it's to me, it's a beautiful story. I so loved writing it, and I really hope that folks enjoy it and pick it up and really just dig into all these stories. All these stories are amazing. I've had the pleasure of reading a lot of them, and I'm so excited and humbled to be a part of that amazing group. And I hope everybody picks it up, and I hope they read it and really just lose yourself in it, because these are such amazing stories.
All right. Jane, do you want to tell us about yours?
Yep, Jasmine is in the set, and that's the 8th Fractured Fairy Tale, and it's a retelling of Aladdin. So I have that, and
I love that book.
thank you.
I loved it.
I like you. Yeah, and it was a surprisingly clean book, which some of the people on the show would like fell off their chair when they read it, and they said, "You wrote a clean book." Holy shit. So yes.
Always keeping us on our toes.
Yep, trying to.
And for everyone out in the audience, thank you guys so much for hanging out and keeping the chat
Thank
so lively.
you.
We loved all of your questions. Spelling Ink's going to be off for the rest of the month of October. We will be back in November, and we're bringing back a fan favorite, but I'm not telling you who. You'll have to come back and find out. Until then, guys, everybody take care. Read Rituals and Runes, and we will see you in November.
Thank you. Bye.